Oh, to be able to walk around a map. The objective's way off in the distance, but that doesn't matter. You're here for the adventure and the road ahead, clearing any marker you see on the way. That's an enjoyable open world experience to me. Open world games have become more and more popular, and in 2024, technology pushing harder than ever, it's time to open up the maps to the extreme and allow us gamers to explore world-size environments. These are some open world games coming out in 2024, and possibly beyond, that you should be excited about. Now let's all go on that adventure. The Stalker games have always been an underrated game in my opinion. Released back in the early 2000s, not many people had the computers to be able to run them. I remember going to watch a friend play the game as I couldn't play it at home, and that was my first experience with the game, an in-person Twitch stream basically. I was over the moon to hear that they'll be releasing Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl. The game is a post-apocalyptic, open-world RPG set within Chernobyl, in which you'll make your own story in this non-linear gameplay as you head towards the very heart of Chernobyl. The graphics look simply beautiful, and it will push most PCs to the max if you want to run it on Ultra. The past 3 games looked fantastic for the time of being released, but this looks like it'll take it to another level. You'll be exploring Chernobyl, but the whole game has been developed off photorealistic real-world development. It's like you'll be there, but with no danger of becoming radioactive. Find and discover factions that call the Chernobyl exclusion zone home, each having their own stories and objective they wish to complete. You'll need to decide if you want to work with them, or maybe look towards ending operations early. I see this in my eyes as an already Game of the Year contender if everything that they've said goes well, and seeing as I never plan on heading to Chernobyl myself, this will probably be the closest I can ever get. This game looks truly mesmerizing and terrifying at the same time. This is Once Human, a multiplayer survival game in which the apocalypse has changed everything. The wonders of space have always been something we question, but after an alien creature lands on Earth, humans, animals and plants are all changed. Changed by the creature they call Stardust. You'll play as a meta-human who can actually survive in the Stardust, and it also comes with some advantages. Once Human will have you explore a tainted world where life or death decisions await you at every turn. The game is a survival open world adventure, and one awesome fact is that you can build your base anywhere on the map. It doesn't just have to be where the game tells you. Start with a home but slowly build up the defences around you and turn this place into a fully fleshed out base that you can enjoy yourself or with friends if they want to join you later. Survive together with the people around you or fight your neighbours. It's all down to you in Once Human. We move on to a game that has only been announced today. This is Outbound, a cozy open world exploration game that is set in a utopia near future. The major pull of this game is the fact that you have a camper van, and it's not just some old one. This is a fully customizable base of operations as you move around this vast open land in search for materials and new technology you can throw together. Plant food and pretty flowers, paint your van to a colour of your liking, and create furniture to make it more of a home. Your home on wheels will need energy to move around. You'll need to harness the power of the sun, wind and water to get enough energy to get this trusty truck moving once more. You'll get to park anywhere in this beautiful landscape to call home for a while. I would love a camper van, and to be able to travel around in an open land like this, parking up by a river one day, next to a mountain another. It's the cozy perfect life a lot of us wish we could have. Outbound sadly won't be out for a while, but the Kickstarter has just started, so if this is your kind of jam, then go give the developers a helping hand in getting this beautiful game up and running. I'll leave the link down below if you want to quickly jump over to it. Next up we have Rooted, another post-apocalyptic open world survival game, set near the year 2100. The world has gone to ruin, and you're one of the last survivors who's just trying to live off whatever scraps you can find. Nature has started to take back land that was once tainted by nuclear weapons. These are classed as safe zones within the game, where you'll have a camp and freely be able to move around without worrying of little things like radiation, you know? If you do end up wishing to explore the cities within the game, make sure you take protection. Not the kind you're told about when you grow up, but I'm thinking a hazmat suit would probably be for the best here. You can travel around the lands as a lone wolf or take the journey with friends as you build a settlement together and explore the world as a pack. The world will be full of things trying to get you. These range from wild animals looking for some food to other survivors who wish to take your loot instead. Rooted seems like it will be a fantastic addition to the survival game genre, and I really do hope it ends up being a success. After the day before, we need some successes in the survival genre so people can believe in good games again. Do you think you'll be able to survive in the coldest of winters? Me? Well, I know I can't, but maybe I can in this game. This is Winter Survival, a first-person survival game. You were meant to go for a nice winter hike with some friends, but something happened along the way, and now you're all alone in Mount Washington State Park, with nothing but the items you brought with you and the wilderness around. Winter Survival will be a fully realistic survival simulator with dynamic combat, stealth, base building, and its unique sanity system that will have you begging for the rescue team to arrive. You'll need to build a shelter that not only protects you from the cold, but the wildlife that calls this area home. You are definitely not the first person to be in this area. Others have been lost here before you, and some even called it home hundreds of years ago. You'll have to explore the surrounding area to find helpful items that might just be the difference between life and death. Winter Survival will be releasing into early access, and even has a prologue you can play right now. The game will be released with the first main area being fully playable, with the next areas set to be released a few weeks after launch. Winter Survival will be a true survival game that will invoke fear, as really, this could happen to any one of us. Moving on to a sequel for a game originally released in 1999. This is Outcast, A New Beginning, a third-person action-adventure that will continue the story of Cutter Slade, cool name by the way, and his journey to save the planet from the robots that wish to enslave and control everything. In this non-linear open-world game, you'll be able to pick and choose which tasks you complete. No having to go here to progress this, you'll be able to explore to your heart's content. Use your jetpack to traverse around the area as you dash around from mountain to mountain. The original developers from the first Outcast have reformed to bring us this new game. That's crazy in this day and age, as let's be honest, we've all seen the news of people being let go by game companies left and right. I'm so happy for them to be able to bring the world they originally made to a system that will show off the beauty they had always envisioned. Outcast: A New Beginning will be a massive hit for the people who played the original cult classic, but I also see a whole amount of new people picking up the game, as it just looks amazing. You don't need to have played the first one to be able to jump in, and I think that's something that people will appreciate. Reign of Guilds is our next open world game, a classic MMORPG set within the Dark Middle Ages. You'll need to join a guild that will have you pushing up the ranks and prove that you're above the rest within it. You'll never truly be safe in Reign of Guilds. PvP will be a massive part of the game. If someone sets you in their sights, with a bow and arrow of course, and manages to kill you, you might be losing more than just your time, as your gear can be plundered from you, very Tarkov style. The map seems massive here. The game has several countries and 60 castles within the whole map. That's a lot of walking around if you want to go from one place to another, so I hope fast travel or being able to buy a horse is an option in the game as it goes on. MMORPGs will live or die depending on the player count. The game might be amazing, but if you look around at the big games within the genre, World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV, they'll be mighty hard to drag players away from those games. I really hope Reigns of Guilds showing something new and the more realistic side will get people to give it a try, and hopefully stay around and tell other people to come and join them. Moving on now to IfSunSets, a adventure survival RPG that will have you playing and looking like you've come straight out of Pirates of the Caribbean. During the day, you'll need to travel around the island you're stuck on to collect resources, build camps, and set up traps, as come nightfall, all the ghoulies that have been hiding come out to play, and they don't want to play the game of life, they actually want to take your life. You've been living a normal life so far, no danger, no thrills, until a storm hits your ship. You get knocked overboard and drift towards an unknown island. The island is a beautiful location during the day, and will be a joy to explore. Just make sure you find an ideal location to set up camp before the night falls. IfSunSets only tells us one thing: no one will be coming to rescue you. It'll be down to you to survive long enough to possibly get some gear together and look towards escaping. Only one problem with that though: the legendary Kraken may have been spotted just off the coast, and might be trying to grab your feet if you do decide to leave. I steal from the rich and give to the needy. I take a wee percentage, but I'm not greedy. Mr. Hood! That's right, we're looking at a new Robin Hood game. This is Robin Hood Sherwood Builders, a action-adventure RPG with base building elements to Sherwood Forest. You'll play as the classic hero, who has been a thorn in the side of the Sheriff of Nottingham for hundreds of years by now. You'll need to help the locals who have had everything taken from them, as you aim to change Sherwood once and for all. As Robin, you'll help a group of refugees build a forest camp to start life once more. Help them build huts that can turn into homes the more the game goes on. Hunt for food in the forests, gather materials to assist the locals, and head back into town with the cover of night to try and take back what was once stolen. You'll be in charge of the settlement, but you won't be alone. Use the people around you and train them to manage the community with different professions and tasks, training them to become craftsmen, hunters, or guards to manage the settlement's resources, either gathering them yourself or stealing them from convoys and noble estates. Robin Hood games have always been pretty hit and miss recently. Mainly misses, which is sad, which for someone so good with a bow and arrow isn't great. But Sherwood Builders is looking like it builds on the lore and will actually be able to be called a classic, just like Robin Hood himself. Up next, we'll have us questioning reality in Nightstones, a fantasy exploration adventure where we have been trapped within our very own dream. You'll need to use the power of the Nightstones as you learn powerful magics that will help you understand why this has happened. Wander through a vast and beautifully handcrafted world, filled with friendly townsfolk, mysterious treasures, complex puzzles, and secret passageways. The world is all yours to explore, and things like night and day don't run on a 24-hour clock here. Touching the Nightstones will instantly change the time of day, to help with puzzles and even meeting new people. Nightstones will have absolutely no combat. The game is set within our own dream, and I doubt we'll dream of evil monsters. That to me sounds like a nightmare. But that doesn't mean you won't have things blocking your way. Instead of fighting, you'll need to discover ways around anyone or anything that blocks your journey. The game was originally started on Kickstarter and smashed the target of the game, which, let's be honest, is fantastic. Most games that I've known that do well on Kickstarter often go to become hits within the gaming market. And let's be honest, not every single game that goes to Kickstarter even gets released, but Nightstones is looking like a cozy exploration experience that I definitely want to try. Let's leave the planet for a moment and set out into space as we leave open world for open universe in Underspace, a space arcade dogfighting game that's inspired by the classics but taking a fresh approach to the genre. Underspace has mixed together a fresh blend of ingredients as it brings flying around space and Lovecraftian elements together. Decide what you want to be in this whole wide galaxy. The game isn't a linear path where you'll become a hero. It's down to you to decide what you want to play. Do you want to become a travelling merchant that travels from planet to planet that sells their goods? Or a space miner who searches for crystals and floating materials for you to grab and make a quick buck? Underspace will allow you to do all of it. Fly around solo or in a group, as you can play in multiplayer to take your friends along for the ride, and you might want that backup. Lurking around in the depths of space are creatures that you would only ever see in nightmares, and they're waiting for fresh prey. Just make sure that it isn't you that gets eaten. My advice? Fly fast enough so they get taken first. Underspace seems like it's got everything. Being able to explore space? Check. Avoiding massive monsters so that you don't get eaten? You got it. And most of all, a story that will be unique to you, as only you can shape your own destiny. And sadly, we move on to the final game of the list of open world games coming in 2024 and beyond. We have HoneyComb, The World Beyond, a survival sandbox set on a world far, far away from Earth named Saturn 7. I guess that the first 6 didn't actually work out for them. Explore its vast world and face challenges on your bioengineering journey. Crossbreed plants or animals, gather resources, craft items, and conduct experiments in order to develop new species. You'll need to set up camp on this new journey by building not only a home, but everything you need to succeed in the mission, as you'll look towards constructing science labs, breeding facilities, and much more. Don't forget, this isn't a holiday. The fate of Earth actually depends on you here. You are a pioneer, taking steps where no person has ever walked before. Nobody can predict what wonders or terrors you'll be encountering on this faraway planet. So your number one goal is to survive and adapt to your environment. You never know what lurks in the shadows. And that's all the open world games on this list. 2024 will have plenty of others, so keep your eyes open for maybe another video in the future. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.